Yo guys, what's up? This is Sugi-Khan and thanks for joining me today on my latest mobile game review. And this time we have a game called Heroes of Soulcraft. And this is actually based on the Soulcraft 1 and Soulcraft 2 universe, which were RPG games on a tablet, and I think you can get those games still from Google Play. And this is pretty much a MOBA version of those, with like some same characters from the same universe, I guess. And let's talk about the game. So it is a bit different from other MOBAs in a few other senses, so let's talk about the differences. So the main game mode is actually on 2v2 and 4v4. Usually in other MOBAs we have 3v3 and 5v5. Those are the most standard modes you can find in other MOBAs. So it's a bit refreshing to play like different amount of players. So the 4v4 mode usually lasts around 15 minutes or even 10 at some point, and it has 2 lanes and it has a jungle in the middle. And it practically goes to the 2 are top and 2 are in the bottom. I guess there's some sort of like a weird experience system in the game too, where you can practically play like 4 on top, and that's what I actually faced on one of my games. It was kind of weird. Maybe that's like a poor design choice or somewhat poorly balanced decision design. And the 2v2 is actually on 1 lane, but it has a small bit of a jungle too, and there's like 2 guys of course sharing 1 lane. And let's talk about the other aspects of the game. So currently you have around roster of 14 characters. Of course the developers are going to add more characters into the game in case they don't close the game and decide it's not worth to do this anymore. And the funny thing is that the game also is a cross-platform, so you can get it on Steam and you can get it on Google Play. You can play it from your phone, you can play it from your tablet, and you can play it on PC. And it's cross-platform, so you can play against the opponent who is playing on PC against the guy on the tablet. I don't think that's really balanced in any sort of a sense. I think the guy on PC will always win because he has a better control of his characters. He can do all the commands a bit faster, the shops and everything. The game also supports the Gamepad, which actually is pretty nice because I felt like the character was extremely responsive when I was, using the controller to play the game. I didn't feel that the gamepad was necessarily the best for like shopping and checking stats and typing in general, but I did feel that the gamepad like give you a lot of like control over character. The game is like pretty smooth. The game has good graphics. It's cartoony. It's not as cartoony as League of Legends. League of Legends is really going for more realistic graphics these days. But I really felt that this game is kind of cartoony, and I do feel that the graphics can appeal to somebody. I don't think the graphics are bad. They're actually like pretty decent for a game that is in multiple platforms. And as we already talked about, there's like 14 characters. I think the art designs are pretty good. The kit designs are pretty standard. They're nothing like extraordinary. They're nothing super special. You don't have characters like Invoker, Oriana, or Lee Sin, or these very highly mechanical, interesting character kits. And I do feel that that's kind of what they are trying to aim for. So the game is aimed for more casual people. And then you have this like summon system in the game. They call them, of course, Titans. And this is something like, I guess, comparable to like Final Fantasy summons. So creature will come to the ground and will fight for you, and you usually can like turn the battle pretty much one-sided and win you the game if you do it like on the right time and everything. And that's kind of interesting. But let's talk about some like controversial points about the game. The game hasn't had like the best ratings over in Steam. I think people might be overreacting. I don't think it's that bad of a game. It's smooth, has decent graphics, there's no queue times almost. But here's one of my big problems. So the sounds are pretty horrible. The game music is alright, but the sounds are really horrible. It seems that all the voice actors are really like third rate, picked up like some bumps from the street. They picked up some 30-year-old voice all the characters, some shit. It seems so awful, and some of the game, like the attack sounds and ability sounds, are really annoying. And I feel the sounds are really in a mess, and I think it just makes the game feel more chaotic when you have really weird spamming sounds on the background, and then the game is also a bit messy too. You don't really know what's going on. There's no tutorial in the game, by the way. There's the game devs have made some like tutorials in their YouTube channel, granted, but there should be always an in-game tutorial inside the game, which is really important in my opinion. And that's not something that exists in the game, which they should have added at some point. And let's talk about the options also in the game. This is one of the negative sides. So you don't have a lot of room for customization of the game. You can't have a colorblind mode. You can change your resolution, but there's almost nothing you can customize. There's no VSync options. There's no anti-aliasing. There's no graphical downgrades or upgrades. It's everything is just the standard stuff, and you can't change anything. And I think you should have these sort of options in the game to make it best for your own PC experience, especially if you're playing on PC. And I already touched upon this, like the tablet users, no way the tablet and phone users are able to compete gameplay on a gamepad or mouse and keyboard. There's no way that's how that game is balanced in that sense of things. And the balance of the game also, like, it was kind of off somehow. I felt somehow the whole UI was a bit messy. I guess the shop system was kind of simple, but since, like I said, there's no tutorials, I was a bit confused in the beginning how the game works, the leveling and everything, like how the jungle creeps and the towers, and you know, there was some sort of a confusion. Even an experienced mobile player, didn't understand everything about the game. And just wrapping things up, you know, wrapping this review up, I think the game is not that bad that people say it is. Kind of casual. There's better options out there, sure, but it is still like a decently made game. But the sounds are horrible. There's a lot of options to go around, and there's not that many heroes. I don't think the heroes are like super interesting or super cool to play. The Gamepad support is pretty nice add-on, but I don't think how it can like be very balanced. It just seems that there's a lot to work on the game still to make it kind of like, you know, somewhat like survive the industry. You know, a lot of other tablet MOBAs haven't done really well in the past, and probably most of them are going to get close, aside from Vainglory. And I feel just the MOBAs are not made for tablets, and I still believe that. And for that reason, I don't think this game will go very far. However, I still think like some of the graphics and the designs are still really good. Oh, by the way, I didn't think the 2v2 and the 4v4 map looked almost the same. I almost thought they were actually the same map, so they could actually change the maps look a bit different from each other. But, you know, it's still like I guess it's an okay game, but I wouldn't be too in a hurry to quit the game and like quit some other games and switch to this. But thanks for watching this review. Hope it was useful to give you some insight about the game. And thanks for watching. I'm hoping to see you on the next video. So please make sure you hit that subscription button. Give comments below. You know, the usual likes are appreciated. You can download from Steam and Google Play if you want to try it out. And cheers, and see you guys later on.